You're feeling like you're in the mood for it, but you need to show up now. So I made a promise to myself a few weeks ago that I was going to go live on YouTube every day for a daily truth drop. Now, the fact is that I didn't really want to do this, but I thought that I had to do it. I said to myself, if I don't start doing this on June the 1st, I will do it no matter what. And then what happens is the self-doubt creeps in. You start thinking, oh, people are going to get sick of you. What are you going to say anyway? What about if you're tired? What if you've got other things to do? But no, if we're light workers, we need to show up. And so I've decided to do a daily truth drop, and that might be for 1 minute. That might be for 15 minutes. I don't know. But given that I am in a phase in my life where I am observing the awakening process, and I do gain daily insights on the awakening process because I am in observation mode, I need to share them. Otherwise, what's the point in having them? And so this morning was an interesting morning. It was like no other I've ever had. So I woke up this morning and went to go to the bathroom like I normally do and found myself really dizzy and just fell over. I then had to crawl to the bathroom instead of walking to the bathroom. And I firmly believe that nothing happens by accident, that everything happens for a reason. I needed to then go back to bed, and I was very dizzy for a few hours. And so that meant that I had planned to record a certain video today about self-abandonment, and I had prepared it. I had, over the last couple of days, prepared what I was going to say and the main points and the nuances and the examples and so on. And the message that I got when I was dizzy and I was sitting in bed was, you're not in charge. Stop thinking you're in charge. You were just going to go back into control mode. You were just going to get out of bed and go and do your video that you had planned to do because you thought that that video was going to be the one that people would like. But that's not the video that's most alive in your system. And so I listened to the message, which was, you're not in control. You're not the one that's in charge. This is all handled by a divine higher power. And you need to listen to what's alive in your body, not what your mind is telling you that you need to do in order to satisfy the YouTube algorithm. Because this is the truth, full transparency now. Last weekend, I did a video on the Audrey Marcus response, and I talked about 12 truths on polygamy, monogamy, spiritual discernment, and so on. And it did really well. It did really well. There were a lot of comments, and I was really grateful for the value that everybody added in the comments. And so my mind went to, okay, so how can I capitalize on this? How can I make sure that the new viewers that have come onto my channel don't go away and they stay interested? And so I prepared a video that I was going to shoot today on self-abandonment and how we abandon the truth of who we are by playing small. Because I thought that would be a good follow-on video from the one that I did last week. But because literally when I woke up today, I was literally thrown onto the ground. When I look back at what happened this morning, it felt like God actually threw me to the ground. Like I got out of bed to go to the bathroom, was really dizzy, and was just thrown to the ground. And it was just like this huge heart-opening moment where it's like, you're not in control, my love. Stop thinking about the algorithm. Stop thinking as to which videos are going to do well and what is alive in your system that you need to share. And then it occurred to me that what I want to share is about the comments that were coming through that video from last weekend, where there were so many different types of comments. Some were adding value, some were name calling, and how I needed to deal with those comments where they were name calling. And then what I believe to be the deeper truth of the role that we all play here, and about catalysts and about triggers and about archetypes and the people that play these roles so that they can act as catalysts for us to awaken even further. And so I completely changed the video that I was going to do, and you'll see it under my videos. I did a 30-minute video on 10 insights about all of those topics. And then I decided no more staying small, no more hiding behind, oh, well, what have I got to say? Everybody's already saying it. There's so much noise out there. How am I going to add value? This is a time of the Great Awakening. And for those of you who are light workers, it's not enough to have a few light workers on the planet at the moment. We need light workers everywhere. And we need to step onto the stage. So you'll notice that with my platform, I haven't dedicated myself to it because I've been in the void for the last few years. I've got a big story, but that's for another day. But what I have decided to do is a daily truth drop, which is to be really raw about what's going on and the insights of the day. I didn't want to do it because there are some days you're just flat, right? There are some days that you're just sick and tired of the whole thing, the whole purpose and mission thing. There are some days you're like, what's the point? There are some days that you just want, you just want to hide away. But they're the days that we need to show up. They're the days that we need to be an inspiration for each other, because there are still insights on those days. So if you're a light worker and you're listening to this, there's no accident you're listening to this. If you've got doubts about what you have to offer in the spiritual space, you need to step up. You need to step up into the truth of who you really are. You do have something to say. You do have something to offer. And what you have to say and what your uniqueness and your magic. And so that's all I wanted to say, is that we need to show up. I'm doing these daily truth drops starting today. Whatever insight I have for the day, today's insight is you're not in control. There's a higher power involved here. We all came part of this plan to drop onto the earth, to shine our light, to speak our truth, to live our truth so that we can awaken each other. And we can't do that if we don't show up, if we think we've got nothing important to say, if we think that we've got nothing to add to the discussion. You do. You do have something to add to the discussion. It's you. You're the missing point. You're the missing part of the jigsaw puzzle. You belong here. You're part of it. You can't not be part of it. You need to speak up. If there's something going on in your world today, say it. Share it. Invite discussion. Doesn't matter if people don't agree with you. Doesn't matter if people think you're nuts. Doesn't matter if people think you're weird. We've got to own our weirdness. We've got to own our uniqueness. We need to own our craziness. We need to speak up. And so that's what I'm going to do. Whether I like it or not, every single day, daily truth drop. Today's daily truth drop, show up no matter what. That's what you're here to do. Sending you so much love.